up. Okay, I'm back. I don't see anybody here with me. Hopefully, some folks will. There's somebody. You made it back, or maybe you're making it for the first time. Hopefully, some other folks will show up. I'm going to give them just a few minutes. In the meantime, I don't see any questions here on Instagram. If you have a question, feel free to post it. Let me just scroll back up and see if there's anything I missed. All right. I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Kareen, hello there. Nice to see you. Sherry, you're back. Marcus, you're very welcome, Marcus. It's a pleasure to share. I'm really happy to be able to share what I can. All right, so I see some of you made it back here. Hopefully the others will find their way. I'm not sure what happened there, but the chat seems to be working again. So maybe we'll be able to go forward from here. All right. So first of all, I in case you're not here till the end, I hope you have a fantastic holiday week and, well, weekend, whatever you celebrate, right? You know, I'm not religious at all, not interested. I don't really, you know, do Christmas in the traditional way, because we are always open here on Christmas, and we're full basically. We'll get together tomorrow afternoon with our guests to recognize that, to recognize the holiday, because for a lot of people it has a lot of meaning. And we'll just spend a little time together, and hopefully it's a nice little time. But other than that, it's the holidays don't have particular meaning for me, except this. It's useful to me to be reminded from time to time that we want to do everything we can to love each other. And that's sometimes difficult to do, sometimes more difficult than others. We had a very challenging situation this week with a client who showed up here who refused to follow any of our guidelines. She wouldn't give us an email address, so she didn't get any of the information from us about anything going on, and then complained because she didn't know, and we had no way to get her any information whatsoever until she got here, and then she wasn't prepared. So she was expecting she's been to places where fasting means you're eating 500 calories a day, and she says, well, that's, there's lots of ways to fast. Yeah, there's really not. I mean, you can do whatever you want and call it anything you want to. If you want to call this an airplane, you can. We're going to have a hard time having a conversation if we insist on using different words to mean different things. The fact is that communication works because we've all agreed on what the meanings of words are. And so, it's useful, I believe, to have these periods that remind us, okay, right, let's slow down, let's take inventory about what's most important. Okay, and what's most important is that we are here for each other, that we do what we can to help each other, and that we love each other. All right. Hello, Margarita. Hi, Loren just came to say hi. Love you. I love you too, Margarita. I do. I wish you were here. I know you're not going to be with us for some time yet, but I'd love to change your mind. Kareen, we're in total hard lockdown. Yeah, I've heard. It's crazy what's going on. You guys all know that already. Charlie says, hi again, wonderful Christmas and beautiful New Year from France. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I wish you the very same, Charlie. I hope it's a beautiful time for you there. So Josephina has a couple questions, and then I'm gonna go and talk about a few other things. What do you think about thyroid hormone supplements if you have hypothyroidism? Is there a natural way through eating to correct the thyroid? Well, here's the thing to understand. So your thyroid is a vitally important organ. In other words, you won't survive without thyroid hormones. It's critical. And if that gland isn't working properly, we have an issue. And so it stops working properly, generally because the body is out of balance, toxic, dehydrated, etc. And is it possible to change that with diet? Absolutely. It's entirely possible for some people to change anything with diet, because diet is a huge factor. You know, what we're actively putting in our body every day has a huge impact on how we feel and function. There are many things that have a significant impact, but diet plays an enormous role because we're actively putting substances in the body, which the body's then interacting with. And so diets is an enormous one. Is that enough to heal the thyroid? Well, not necessarily. It may be, it may not be. It's going to vary from person to person. And so there's a natural way to heal the thyroid, but it's much more powerful, and it's much more powerful than optimizing your diet. That's by fasting. So we've had many people heal from hypothyroidism by fasting, by getting the body clean, balanced, and then hydrated. Generally speaking, the thyroid is able to go back to doing the job that it was intended to do properly. Okay. And that's the issue. You know, it's not doing its job properly. So yeah, if it were me, Josephine, what I would be doing is I would be contacting me. If I were you, I would send me a private message, and let's talk about your situation and how long you need to fast. It's something that needs guidance to do properly, but there's a very good chance you're going to see dramatic improvement in your thyroid through fasting. And it's a good transition, because I wanted to talk today about how to take your health to the highest level possible. I'm going to answer fewer questions today. I see some questions here. I'm gonna read the comments, and then I'm gonna really just focus on sharing some things with you for the time that we have left. Okay. iClub says, hi, Loren, what's the best way to shorten the 8-month period of recovery after the fast? The 8-month period of recovery after the fast. Well, some people leave here and feel amazing within, a week. I mean, a week of refeeding here, and when they leave here, they feel amazing. So there isn't an 8-month recovery period. The recovery period varies from each person. If you're asking, if you're talking about the fact that I recommend 8 months between fasts, that's a different thing. There's no way to really, I mean, yeah, that's what's optimal for most people. There are situations where you can fast again sooner than 8 months later, and we have people. It just depends on the situation. Generally speaking, it makes sense to wait a while, to hold off rather than jumping from one fast into the next. You want to give it some time between there, so your body has a chance to balance, finish eliminating all the garbage, etc., etc. Okay. All right. Charlie says, I started drinking reverse osmosis water 2 days ago after drinking from plastic bottles forever, and I feel a little nauseous and have some mucus going out. Is this related and not surprising? Yes, it's related and not surprising. You improve something, now your body's detoxing a bit. That's what's happening. Skytree Girl says, yep, my family not letting me see the newborn baby as I'm not VED. And I said, I'm just not going to. Understand that they're just afraid from the fear mongering. Yeah. Hello there. I recognize you, that little grain man. I hope you're doing great. Well, thank you so much for the kind contribution. I appreciate that very much. That's a very nice gift, Christmas gift. All right. Margarita says, would love to be there with you too. I'm actually reconsidering my plans because making that commitment we've talked about would tie me to the city with no access to nature for over a year. Hey, you know what? You can do that process here. You can do that process here. Let's talk sometime. Okay. Let's talk, Margaret. Maybe there's a way for you to just get yourself here, and we'll make it happen from here. iClub says, I heard that electrolyte powder would help. Please advise. Well, you want to avoid taking electrolyte powder if you can. We're intended to be getting our nutrients from food. So it's one thing to take powdered electrolytes or liquid electrolytes, situation where you're not getting what you need to get some other way. But it's always best to get it naturally. And most people aren't going to have significant electrolyte issues. So no, I mean, I've fasted dozens of times over the last 35 years. I've never taken powdered electrolytes and don't intend to start doing that unless I have some serious issue that I can't resolve otherwise. Okay, I don't think there's any reason why you should need to do that. Every once in a while, we'll have somebody that has a bit of an issue, and if that's the case, then you do what you need to do. But it's definitely not the best way. Okay. Okay, Margarita. Take care. Much love to you. Let's talk again soon. Josefina says, thank you. Fasting and rebooting makes sense to me. I just don't think I could fast more than 3 days, especially because it puts such a stress on the thyroid. I feel the body asks me to eat. Well, I mean, I've taken many thousands of people through fasts averaging 26 days, and I guarantee you can do it. And it puts no additional stress on your thyroid. It actually unburdens your thyroid dramatically. So it's the way to heal the thyroid. But it's up to you. I mean, you asked for my advice. I'm telling you what's worked. Tanglewood, my fasting center, is now, in March, we will be 25 years old. We have guided many, many thousands of people. There's nothing that works better, but you got to make your own choices. All right. Pecan says, hi, Loren, what's your opinion on cold feet, hands very often, even when temperatures are very hot? Maybe anemia. Well, it's possible it's anemia. It's also possible it's just poor circulation. There are probably a number of things that could be going on. It could be low vitamin B12. There's a bunch of things. I mean, the first step would probably be to get a complete blood panel done. And then if you want to, you can schedule, you're very welcome. You can schedule a consultation with me. It's $200 for an hour. You get me the results in advance. I'll go over them in advance and we'll look at them together. And we'll talk about what those numbers are telling us and exactly what to do. But, here's the thing. Regardless of whether it's anemia or poor circulation or low B12, getting your body clean and hydrated is, generally speaking, the single best thing that you can do to heal yourself. So let's talk a little bit about what I'd hoped to do today was just to share some tips with you, right? A little bit of a gift to you. I know you're here every week, and some of you and asking questions, and you're trying to piece things together this way. I'm just going to share some basic things for you. Okay, I'll look forward to it, Charlie. And again, if you want to make it sooner than later, it may not be in person. You're always welcome to schedule a consultation with me, and we can spend an hour together. And I apologize. I mean, some people complain about the price, but I'm super busy, and my time is really valuable to me. I have very little free time, and so if you want to do that, let's make it happen. What do you think of grape diet to clear lipoma? Fasting is the single most powerful and beneficial thing you can do. That's what I would do if I had a lipoma or anything else that needed to heal. I'd be fasting. That is what I do every time I need to heal. In fact, I didn't share this with you guys. I don't think I said this last week, but when I was here last week, I was fasting. That was my second day. I did 6 days. Now, I didn't do any longer than that because we're open and I'm super busy. And I mean, honestly, for me, fasting is pretty easy. People talk about fasting being difficult, painful, etc. That's not true. What's true is that detoxification is difficult and painful. So when your body's already clean, fasting is relatively easy. And of course, to get more benefit, you want to rest, but I've got 40 people I'm fasting roughly here and remotely, and need to be on top of my game. I can't spend all day resting. I've got things I need to do. In fact, I've had a lot of things going on in addition to what just happening here. We have a lot going on with Las Cascadas and talking with investors and people interested in the community. and many other things, big projects. So, okay, Charlie. Well, if you did that recently, well, the free evaluation is me responding to that. And if you didn't hear back, it's just because I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to. But I'll do my best to get to that. I'll make a note here to look for your form, because I have a bunch I have to respond to. I apologize, but just life is super, super busy for me. All right. So where to start? I think, basic pieces. This is like 101. We want to be completely clear. And, people, grape diet. How about doing this? How about doing that? Should I take electrolytes? We want to remember always that our amazing bodies, like every other organism, there are 25 million animal species on the planet. They all have one thing in common. They're self-healing and they're self-cleansing. Okay? We don't take anything to cleanse the body. We don't, we don't need to do anything to the body to cleanse it. What we need to do is to get out of the way. Now look over there. There's Exhibit A. Okay, Exhibit A and well, it's really the same exhibit, right? That's Shai and Ash, two brothers who are 2 years old, 2 years and about a month old now or so, and maybe 6 weeks. We don't know how old they are. They showed up here when they were little guys with 3 siblings, and they've been living with me now for a couple of years. And they spend a lot of time resting, probably way more time resting than most of us do. I mean, like 3 times per day or twice per day, at least as much as most people do. Now, you might be the exception. Maybe you're resting 10, 12 hours a day. I get 5 or 6 hours a day to rest. That's about all. Hopefully you're resting at least 8 hours every night, but not everyone does that. And I'm unfortunately in that category right now. That will change at some point when life gets a little bit less busy for me. We are self-cleansing and self-healing, and the thing to do is to rest as completely as possible. Now, in order to rest as completely as possible, you can't have put anything in your face for a while. So I decided to fast last week because I was so busy and had so much going on. I wasn't getting enough rest. I was feeling a little bit run down. I'm not sure if you could tell from the live broadcast, or maybe even the last live broadcast. I mean, I still functioned pretty well, but I was feeling it. I thought, okay, processing food takes a lot of the body's energy. So I'm going to slow down on processing food. Okay. I'm just going to rest as much as I can. I still have work, but I'm going to rest as much as I can. That means I'm not eating. Okay. Because if I'm eating, my body's doing half of its work every day, just processing food. If I'm eating a normal amount of food every day. So I could have cut back. I did. I cut way back to 0 calories for 6 days. Now, on the last day, before I had my first meal, I ate a small watermelon. And again, look, me breaking a fast is different than most people breaking a fast because I've done this so many times and I've eaten optimally for so long. It's not, for me, it's really no big deal to eat again after a fast of that length. It's much, much different if we're talking about a fast of 21 days. But fasting for 6 days, it's really nothing. It's really not a big deal. And so I broke my fast by eating the small watermelon. I felt perfectly fine. Before I fasted, I did 50 push-ups and 50 full body weight dips with all my weight on my hands. And some of you have seen me do this before. This, except not on a chair, but in the kitchen where I can actually go all the way down. And so my point, people think fasting makes you weak. It doesn't. Detoxification makes you weak. Okay. Fasting makes you feel tired. It doesn't. Fasting doesn't have you lose all your muscle mass. It doesn't. You do lose some muscle mass. It's mostly water. You lose very little strength. I mean, this 6 days after my last meal, I was, still quite strong and was able to exercise before eating. And I did it to demonstrate that I could do it. And also because when exercising on, so normally, again, I don't recommend doing this for most people. Most people wouldn't be able to. My clients can't do that, generally speaking. But if you're doing intermittent fasting, and before you have your first meal, that's a great time to exercise, right? So I typically fast 20 hours every day. And before that first meal, that's a great time to exercise. Why? Because you've got more human growth hormone in your bloodstream. And so you're going to rebuild muscle mass faster in that window, in that period, than you would exercising at some other time. Okay? That's the idea. All right. So the body is self-cleansing and self-healing. And what that means, because healing is a biological process, cleansing a biological process. What that means is there's nothing else that can cleanse or heal you. There's no supplement that can heal you. Now, obviously, if you are deficient in something, you need to get what you need. I mean, if you're deficient in copper or vitamin A or vitamin C, whatever it is, if it's an essential nutrient, you need to get that nutrient into your body. Now, oftentimes the nutrients are in the body, but the body is incapable of using them properly. And so if that's the case, then it's not about getting more of the nutrients. Okay. Again, with most people, it's not about needing more electrolytes. Most people have what they need. The problem is the body's not capable of using what's there properly because it's imbalanced or dehydrated or both, and toxic. Okay. And so it's usually much more about how efficient the body is. How well is it working? This is the most important thing. Okay. Right. So we want to be clear about this, right? Again, if we're deficient in something, and let's say we're deficient in vitamin D or vitamin B12, these are pretty important nutrients. Vitamin B12, if you're low enough in B12, you're going to potentially create some brain damage. I don't have to worry about that. But if it's not too late for you, you may want to be really careful, okay, to make sure that you have what you need. But here's the thing. B12 is produced in your gut biome. If your body works properly, you should be able to get what you need from your body every day. Vitamin D comes from sunlight, and we should be living in a place where we can get enough sunlight 12 months of the year. And I realize that your life may be somewhere else. I realize that. I realize it may sound flippant to say, well, you should just pick up and move. The fact is, if you want to feel and function as well as possible, if you want to be your best version of yourself, you have to live in a climate that supports health. We can live at the North Pole, but there's no light 6 months of the year, let alone sunlight, let alone enough sunlight to get vitamin D. There's no light at all. You're in darkness. That doesn't work. Our bodies need sunlight. They need darkness they need a balance of light and dark every day because our hormonal cycle works that way. Okay, we're diurnal animals meant to be awake during the day, asleep at night. And that means, here's a tip. If you're working a night shift, you might want to figure out how to change that, because that's not a healthy scheme for the human body. That would work perfectly fine if you were a cat, although good luck getting a cat to do any work, right? But cats are nocturnal animals. So living with humans, they'll adapt and they'll be awake during the day and they'll sleep during the day and they'll be awake at night and they'll sleep at night. They can adapt to lots of different conditions. But generally speaking, they're nocturnal animals. We're diurnal animals. We're meant to be awake during the day and asleep at night, and we need both. Okay, so important to understand that the real key. If I had to summarize one thing, how do we become healthy? This isn't particularly very useful for most people because most people may not know what to do with it, what I'm about to say. But the way is really simple. Okay, get your body clean and hydrated, and then meet all of your needs the way that nature intended. Okay, the way that nature intended. Now, I don't have a lot of carnivores watching my videos, not for very long anyway, probably. But if you're not sure about this, or if you're going that path, You have to understand that our systems, our digestive tracts are completely different from those of any species that eats meat. Completely different. Okay. Our digestive tracts are virtually identical to our closest primate relatives who eat what? Mostly fruit, small amounts of leaves, pith, roots, other soft, tender plant parts, and very little else. Maybe they get a tiny amount from insects or from flesh, but it's a very small percentage of what they consume. Okay, they are frugivores, just as are we. So that's, the overall is you get your body clean and hydrated, you get out of its way, and you meet its needs the way that nature intended. That's all there is to it. That's all we need to do. Okay. It's so simple and people make it so complicated. Okay. All you really need to do is that. I've got a super chat, so I'm going to jump in and answer this question. Let me see here. Abby has made a $5 contribution. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Says, Loren, you're wonderful. Thanks so much for guidance on improving life in a natural way. Best wishes for 2023 and happy birthday then too. Well, thank you so much. How about 2022? Can I have a good 2022 as well? I'm guessing you meant 2022, but thank you so much. I wish you all the best for the holidays this weekend and next, and the best for the new year coming up. Feel free to pop back in and wish me happy birthday. That's still 5 months away. Thank you. All right. Gary Hall has made a 99-cent contribution. Yeah, that's okay, Abby. Hey, Abby, I understand. For a 21-day water fast, is it bad to go to work? What about taking electrolytes? Yes, indeed, it is bad. Gary, the whole point of fasting is to rest as completely as possible. Again, I don't know if you've ever seen a cat, a dog, any other species get sick enough to refuse to eat, because they will. They get sick enough, they won't touch food. Okay, your dog gets sick enough, it won't touch food. Or if it's badly enough injured, you can put the food right in front of it, it won't touch it. Okay, it's an instinct. Why won't it touch food? Because healing takes so much energy, the body doesn't have the energy to process food at the same time. We don't need food to heal. The body has within it already everything it needs to heal. Okay? But the whole point is they rest completely. That's what we should be doing. If you are going to work while fasting, you are coming close to getting the same benefits. Not even close. Okay? So yes, absolutely, you want to rest as completely as you can. No question about that. Okay? As completely as possible, you want to be resting. All right, that's the way you maximize your benefit. I guarantee, and we'll see huge differences between the people who do that and the people who don't. The people who rest get more benefit. People who sit around and talk all day or watch videos all day or read all day, they're not getting the same benefits. Okay? It's, you have to close your eyes and just relax and sip water. That's how we're going to maximize our benefits every time. It's so simple, and yet people are in resistance. Now, the reason they resist this is because they know that if they get that quiet and still, their suppressed emotions start bubbling up to the surface, and they don't want to deal with it. And so they spend all their time talking and socializing, etc. You're not going to get the same benefits that way. All right. Someone's asked me if I've ever had cooked food after shifting to raw. Yes, absolutely, I have. I've always been completely open about this. I've tried on various occasions cooked food. It always makes me feel like crap, low energy, high temperature, mucus, and my body says, that was stupid. Why did you do that? Okay, so yeah, I'm 30 years and 3 weeks now. Today, 3 weeks ago, was my 30-year anniversary living on fruit and salad. And there's been a few exceptions. Always been a bad idea. All right. Sherry is here. Lovely Sherry. Hello there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sherry says, happy holidays. The donations for the adorable kitties in the background. Thanks so much. But the kitties told me they actually have no use for money and that I should take it and put it towards the Maserati or whatever it is. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll buy them a cat toy, maybe some catnip or something. Thank you. All right. Judy Osborne says, Merry Christmas and the best for you in the new year. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What do you recommend in a simple salad? Keep the salad simple. That's the point. Lettuce, tomato, cucumber, and not much else. Lettuce, tomato, cucumber, avocado. For me, it's typically 4 or 5 ingredients maximum. The question is, can you clear drusen and heal from early stage macular degeneration? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Macular degeneration, and I'm going to get away from answering questions, folks. I'm going to go back to sharing what I'm sharing. I only have a few minutes left, but macular degeneration is a deformation of the eye. Okay, your eye is a ball of jelly. It's made of water. The average person's severely dehydrated. My experience is we get people rehydrated. It's amazing what changes. It's amazing. You will see macular degeneration improve virtually every time. Okay. All right. Let me scroll up. I think I had missed something here I wanted to respond to. Gary also asked, is light cardio okay during a 21-day fast? No, it's not. It's about complete rest. Complete rest. You should be doing as little exercise as you possibly can. Doing like nothing would be ideal. Okay. Laying down, closing your eyes would be ideal. I mean, you have to get the water in some way, but that's really, you don't want to do any more than that. Okay, that's really all you want to do. All right. So, yeah, you're very welcome. Determination. Feel free to shoot me a message, and if I can help you, I'll be happy to. Angry Minpin is here. Hello, Loren, and good vibes. That's all. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's a $50 contribution. That's very, very kind. Mr. Fantabulous says, hi, everyone. I highly, highly recommend fasting at Tanglewood. I fasted for 21 days last month. Absolutely the greatest and best decision of my life. I'm going back in a few months, exploring crypto. I'd like to go talk to you for fast, but during that time, I would talk with you, ask you questions, and discuss. Well, listen, you can set up a consultation with me. That's great determination. Crypto world, you can set up a consultation, and it's your hour. We can spend it any time, any way you want to. If you want to spend the whole time asking me, I mean, that's what it's for. It's for me to answer your questions or explain whatever you'd like. So feel free to schedule that. All right, Reliable Andrew, regarding leafy greens, would you include cress, sunflower sprouts, alfalfa sprouts? Mr. Fantabulous, thank you so much, Raul. I really, really appreciate that. You're very generous, and I appreciate that very much. I'm hoping we can talk soon about more than $100, but I hope it's a fantastic holiday for you. I'm glad that you're home with your family, and hope you have a great time. Okay, Josephine says, when you fast, do you only drink water or also include? But let me share something with you. Tanglewood is the largest dedicated water fasting center in the world. Now, there are places like, oh shoot, what are they called? There's a big place in Germany. I can't think of the name right now. But they don't actually fast people. They eat up 500 calories a day. It's not fast. You can call it whatever you want. It's not fasting. Okay? So we're the largest water-only fasting in the world. We'll be 25 years old in a couple months. We have fasted many thousands of people. You do not need anything else. And if you take anything else, you're not actually fasting. You're not in the process. It takes you out of the same benefits. This is why people say, oh, I did. It was much easier with. Well, yeah, it's like, because you're not really doing it. It's much easier to do push-ups if you don't actually do push-ups, okay? But it's a completely different thing. Om Prayer says, happy holidays, Loren and team. What are your thoughts on red light therapy and Chinese medicinal mushrooms, please? Much love. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't know much about red light therapy. I guess you mean infrared therapy. So infrared lights can help warm the body. We absorb infrared light this far, so it's a couple, 3 centimeters or so, 2 to 3 centimeters into the skin, it's into the body. It actually penetrates the skin, warms the body from the inside. This is why it feels good to warm up on a cold day in the sun, even inside a window, because infrared passes through glass and plastic. So if you're in a greenhouse or a car or at your house in front of a sunny window, you'll feel the warmth of the sun. You can't get vitamin D that way because UV radiation will not pass through glass. Okay, and that's what we actually need to get vitamin D. So we want the whole spectrum of sunlight. I mean, infrared's okay. Old-fashioned infrared bulbs put out a lot of electromagnetic radiation. Newer bulbs, not so much. Newer bulbs are much less electromagnetic radiation, so are much safer than the older ones. Okay, and so are probably okay. But coming back to Utopia, the thing is, there's nothing that heals your body. Chinese herbs and mushrooms don't heal you. Your body is self-healing. Okay, so we get the body clean through fasting, and then we eat optimally, which includes fruit and leafy greens, and we see amazing things happen. If we know what we're doing, we do the process correctly, we see and long enough, we're going to see amazing things happen every time. Okay, my advice would be, rather than looking for something else, do what absolutely is guaranteed to work every time, as long as you're able to do what you need to do and do it correctly. Do it properly. It's helpful to have guidance, so you know what you're doing. Happy holidays, Loren and team. Oh, there we go. Same question. Okay. All right. So I hope that helps. Yeah, unfortunately, I'll take another question. I don't really have time to say too much more. Last one. Oh, there we go. Cress. Yeah, so watercress, strong tasting greens are like all herbs. They're basically herbs. Substances are substances that are toxic to you, and we don't need to consume medicinal substances. Okay, we don't need to do that. All we need to do is get out of the body's way. So I wouldn't include cress. It's okay to have some sprouts from time to time. We don't really need to have a lot of sprouts, but okay. I mean, I hope that's clear. So let's see, where are we? It's about getting out of the body's way and letting the body heal via fasting. It's about sipping plenty of water. The average person is severely dehydrated, and becoming fully hydrated makes all the difference in the world. So we see people here all the time. I'm now on the other side birthday, so I'm closer to 61 than 60. And we see people who are 61 and or around 60 usually have a lot more lines on their face. Keep the body hydrated as much as we can. We do that, amazing things happen. Raul, is that you again? Or is that the same one? I think that's the same one. Okay. All right. Let's see here. We'll recommend to remove it after my bone will heal. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. If they can take those screws out, I think they can. I would definitely take them out, right? The idea is to hold the bone together while it knits itself back together, as living tissue does, right? We graft trees here. We take a branch from a tree. Let's say it's a mango tree that's already producing mangoes. We take a branch and we'll take root from another mango. See, when you grow many mango seeds, you plant the seed, you'll get a mango tree, but the type of mango, you don't know what it is. And so you wait until the trunk is about the same as, the trunk and the branch are about the same size. You cut them like this, you stick them together like that, and you wrap cellophane around them to hold them together. And you know what happens? The two living pieces of wood grow together. They knit themselves together. Your bone does exactly the same thing. This is what happens. And so we don't need those screws permanently in most cases. I mean, I'm not an orthopedist. Maybe there's specific situations where it's so bad I don't know. But if you can get the screws out, I would definitely have them taken out, because you don't want an artificial material in the body. Okay, this is true for metal screws. This is true for saline bags. Okay, and saline's the better choice. The other stuff, what is it? That's even worse. You don't want the stuff in your body. Folks, if you've got implants in your body, they should come out, because these are unnatural artificial materials. Okay. So, and I fully understand. I mean, it took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that I've got a giant nose. That's not putting something in that, that's the potential desire to take something out, take something, make it smaller. I'd much rather not have surgery where possible. Now, obviously, if there's something dangerous, then it might make sense to get it handled. Okay. But otherwise, better to leave it alone as much as possible. Ladies, I know it's in vogue now to have breast implants. Silicone is what I'm thinking of. When not saline, silicone's much worse than saline, but saline is bad enough. And so much better if you have them, please take them out. Okay. There are plenty of men who couldn't care less how big your boobs are. Okay. I'm not going to judge a woman on the size of her boobs. And frankly, I don't know if anyone else, guys, if you've had this experience, I'm sure there's enough women out there that would have these. I remember the first time I ever encountered them, I didn't know what I was about to encounter because I didn't know much about it. They weren't very common. This was, I was in my first house, which I sold 28 years ago. So I got together with a woman who had fake breast implants, and it felt weird. It doesn't feel very good. It doesn't feel natural at all. It's not the same. I'd much rather a woman has smaller breasts than these implants. Full of mold and toxicity. I can only imagine. I mean, it's just such a bad idea to ever put anything artificial in the body when not absolutely necessary. I mean, medicine causes so many problems. What about the structure of a cell preferring fruit water over regular water? Have you heard of this? Yeah, it's absolutely true, Nikki. It's absolutely true. However, eating fruit doesn't heal the body like fasting does. And so using fruit water isn't a possibility. It's okay. What we do when we fast is we get in to keep the body doing well and to rehydrate the old material, drinking perfect spring water. It's amazing. And then afterward, fruit and leafy greens, and we get that perfect water from the food. There's nothing structured like the water from our fruits and leafy greens. It's the best. But you can't use that while fasting, because if you do, you're not fasting. Okay? So, all right, well, I didn't wind up getting to exactly what I wanted to. It's hard with all the questions to share as much. But anyway, there it is. Maybe I'll make a video instead sometime soon for the new year. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic holiday and enjoy your weekend with your family and loved ones. It's been a real pleasure being able to serve you again for another year. This is the last one, I guess we'll do. No, I take that back. We have one more on New Year's Eve. So I'll see you one more time in 2021 before we change the calendar. So never mind that. We'll go back to that. Alexis de Prado. Oh, hang on. Now I'm confused. Okay. Hello, Loren. My hands are damaged, chapped, having washed them with natural soap, maybe too often, but how to reverse it given this world situation? Fasting is the way you reverse it. It's dehydration. I can guide you remotely. Okay. I mean, the key is to fast to get your body clean out all the garbage, and then eat properly and follow my directions to get fully hydrated and fully functioning. You can do it. I guarantee you're going to see amazing things shift for you when you do that. Okay? I hope that helps. How long could one healthy person take between long fasts? 21 to 28 days. I did a 28-day one in October now, and I'm contemplating doing a supervised one next year. Well, so first of all, I personally would only encourage you to do the supervised. I guarantee you, next one, if you fast with me, will be way more beneficial if you can follow my simple coaching, which is sometimes going to be telling you things you don't want to hear. So ideally for most people, it's going to be 6 to 8 months between fasts. Having said that, if there's some unique circumstance, I'll work with people sometimes who are dealing with a significant issue like cancer and don't want to wait that long. And as long as it's been long enough, I mean, it depends on the specifics of the situation and the person. So what you can do, Alexandra, is complete a registration form, an application on the Tanglewood website, and let me know what you're thinking in terms of time-wise. I'll respond to it, give you my opinion, whether it's too soon or how long you should wait and how long you should fast. Okay? So feel free to get that completed for anyone that's interested, tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, and I'll be happy to respond to that as quickly as I can. Thank you so much for your kind wishes. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Just celebrate being alive, fantastic. I hope you have a fantastic day, weekend, and week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, I've got to get off to a call. I'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Skytree girl, don't do it. Okay, please don't do it. It's really a bad idea, and there's no reason to do it. You're a beautiful woman as you are. I promise you. It's not something you need to do. Okay, everybody, take care.